guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for just being interested in my content about my weight loss journey. It has been a journey, trust me. I have a vlog up if you haven't seen it yet, my first vlog. Go back and watch it. The link will be in the description box. Also, if you haven't seen any of my other, 3 other videos in reference to my weight loss journey, make sure you watch those as well. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, reposting, retweeting, showing so much love to me in your own videos if you're a YouTuber. I just want to say thank you. Before I start the video, I just want to give a shout out to my sweet mate from college who made my t-shirt that I'm wearing today. It says, "This girl loves New Edition." And if you know me, you know that that is true. Her name is Kiana and she owns Shades of Me. And I will put all of her information below as well. She makes a lot of different custom shirts for any occasion. So make sure you check out her page and buy up all her stuff. So let's talk about my recovery period, y'all. So my last video, I discussed what happened 2 weeks prior to my surgery and my surgery. So now it's time for recovery and how I was able to recoup from this major surgery that I just had. So my recovery time, I took off, well, initially I got approved for 6 weeks off from work, but I only took 5 weeks off because I was short some hours. So, but believe it or not, that 5 weeks I felt like myself all over again. And I did my recovery time between home in Maryland and then also my home in Delaware. So because I was doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, like bending over and lifting. And so my family was like, "Yeah, girl, you're gonna need a babysitter, so you need to come on home because you need to come on home and we're gonna keep an eye on you." So during my recovery time, I spent weeks 3 and 4 in Delaware. By week 4, I came home and was able to start preparing myself to go back to work that 5th week. So let's talk about some things that I had to do when I was home. So not only did I had to make sure that my incisions were nice and clean and my dressings were clean, I also had to make sure that my drain was good and that I had to monitor my fluid that was going inside my drain. So when I came home, they gave me some discharge papers. And so in the discharge papers, they also explain how to care for your drain and how to discharge of any liquid that was built up in the drain. So the drain is pretty much a large tube that went like a S throughout my body, like that. And then at the end of it, what was on the outside was, I don't know if you all can see this, but it was like a little, like bulb. And in this bulb, this is where the fluid was collected. And so what I had to do was, I actually had to monitor it 3 times a day. But because I never collected a lot of fluid throughout the day, I only drained my bulb in the morning when I woke up and then at night before I went to bed. Or I might have did it depending on how much fluid collected overnight. I might have just waited maybe till midday, right after lunchtime, before I drained it. So pretty much what I had to do was I had to open up the little bulb and pour whatever fluid that was in there into a measuring cup that they gave me. And with that measuring cup, I had to write down how many cc's I collected during that time. So this is pretty much the paper that they gave me. And it pretty much breaks it down. You put your date, the time that you're supposed to check it, and how many cc's. And so I had to write down, you know, if there were like any odors, if the color started to change, which it should have been changing from like a red to like maybe like a pink and then maybe a clear fluid, which mine was doing. The reason why that my surgeon did the drain is to pretty much just collect any fluid that may build up after surgery, and you don't want that fluid inside of you because it could cause infection. The next thing that I had to do was I actually had to measure my urine also. So I came home with like a urine catcher that I had to put on my toilet. Now I only did that for about the first week and a half. And I only did this just to make sure, they just wanted to make sure that I was going to the bathroom regularly and that I was able to pass whatever liquids that I was ingesting. And I pretty much just had to also write that down as well and report back to them when I went to my visit. Once that I came home, I also had to track down my fluid intake. My goal was to ingest 64 ounces of fluid per day. And by midday, I had to at least have 30 ounces of fluid in me. Now, I had to do this from weeks 1 through 3. And what they did was I got like little small, like little medicine cups that were an ounce each. And each time that I drank one of those, I had to use a tick sheet. And this is my tick sheet, one of my tick sheets. I had to put the date and everything. And I pretty much just checked off how many fluids that I actually drank during that period of time. So not only that I had to track down the actual amount of fluids, but I had to make sure that I was getting my protein in and watching my carbs as well, which I will go over in just one moment. But with this, pretty much I was supposed to drink an ounce every 15 minutes. So if you know me, I don't follow instructions very well sometimes. So those little ounce cups every 15 minutes was not for me. So what I ended up doing was I purchased Dixie cups. And these are 3 ounces each. So what I would do is I would fill these up. And this would be either, you know, with water with the Crystal Light. It would be broth. It would be a popsicle. I would fill it up. And I would drink this, and this is how I was able to get my 64 plus ounces of fluid in per day. Checkup. So when I got to my 1 week checkup, they pretty much wanted to see my tick sheets for my fluid intake, also my cc's of fluid that was coming out of my drain, and also my urine check. So at this particular time, he told me I no longer had to check my urine anymore since I was going regularly. Also, they checked my incisions on that day just to make sure everything was healing properly and just to make sure that I didn't have any infections. And pretty much at this particular appointment, I didn't get my drain out, which I was upset about because I was so sick of the drain. Now, starting week maybe 2 is when I started to have a lot of drain pain. And during this time, I was staying over one of my friend's house because of the pain that I was having. And it was all from the drain. So I had to keep the drain in for 2 weeks after surgery. What was added to my food intake, because remember, I'm on a liquid diet for 3 weeks after surgery, I was able to drink egg drop soup. I hate egg drop soup. It is disgusting. The texture is gross. So I just stuck to what I was already drinking, which was the popsicles, the water, the broth, and, you know, any other liquids. Which I also failed to mention that after surgery, I had to gain 10 pounds based on all the fluid that I had gotten while I was in the hospital to keep me hydrated. As soon as I got home, I weighed myself and I was 10 pounds heavier. So I was back up to 319. And then when I went to my 2 week appointment, I actually got down to 303. So, which was great for me because that means that I was down 6 pounds from my actual surgery date. And of course, I was 13 pounds down from my weight when I came home from the hospital, which I already knew that I was going to gain some weight because of the fluid. But once that I was starting to release those fluids, I knew that I wasn't, you know, that weight was not going to stay on. Pretty much just checked my incisions, and finally my drain was removed. My drain was so long, guys. Like, he pretty much was like, Tamika, when I, you know, get ready to pull, I need you to inhale, and as I'm pulling it out, I need you to exhale. I forgot to exhale. I forgot to exhale. So he's pulling the drain out. He's like, breathe. And I'm like, because I can't even explain what it feels like, but I felt it. And it was like the shape of an S, like they said. And it was, listen, the drain pain was one of the things that I wish people would have explained to me prior to getting surgery. So during this time, now that I'm able to take a shower, I noticed that my skin started to become very, very dry and very, very flaky. Even if I put like any type of oil, or if I put any type of like lotion on, my skin was absorbing it so much. So what I ended up doing was purchasing some exfoliating gloves, and I also purchased this Mr. Bean coffee scrub. And when I say that this stuff is amazing, I bought it off of Amazon, and I'll put the link below. But this stuff, and I still use it to this day. You can see that it's almost pretty much gone. I wanted something with some type of oil infused in it, and this did the job. So I just, you know, scrubbed my body from the rooter to the tutor with those exfoliating gloves and that coffee scrub, and I got my skin back to its normal self. And we're just moving right along, right? So my 1 month, I lost I actually weighed 293 pounds. So that was another 10-pound loss from my 2 weeks. So it was 2 weeks prior, I lost another 10 pounds. Because remember, I'm still on those liquids. But this is the day that my nutritionist says, now you are able to eat soft foods. So I always bought like the little Bluebell cheeses. I love cheese, so like the little cheese sticks, I was buying like the sharp cheddar cheese sticks. Those were freaking amazing. I was able to eat eggs again, so I would boil my eggs. I would make double eggs. I would just make scrambled eggs, and now since I can add cheese, I would buy like some cheese and sprinkle the cheese on it. I could eat tofu. I'm not a tofu person, so that was not in my meal plan. And then also I was able to eat fish and seafood, which I am like a proclaimed faux pescatarian. So this was right on my alley. I was like, oh, I can stay on this stage forever. Like, this is easy, right? Wrong. So with this, the only seafood that I was not able to eat is shrimp. And the only reason why that I was not able to eat shrimp was because of the texture of shrimp is very, very hard, and it's harder to digest. So my surgeon pretty much compared shrimp's texture to steak. So I was not able to eat shrimp at this particular stage. But I did. I did. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. I did. I'm not gonna lie. But when I did eat the shrimp during this stage, I made sure that I chewed it up a lot. Even though in my paperwork I was told that anytime that now that I had to chew 30 times. So with the shrimp, I would make sure that I would chew between 45 and 50 times just to make sure that it was grounded up real good and it digests as well. But listen, that's what I'm here for, to be real. I told you, I don't follow all instructions. It was trial and error just to see how my stomach reacted to it. And Lyra loved it. So we kept shrimp in our diet since a month out. Also advised to continue to walk. So I increased my walking. I had to try to get 70 grams of protein in and watch out and try to get about 30 grams of carbs in. I was also able to swallow my pills during this time. So now I no longer have to crush up my vitamins. I no longer have to crush up any medications that I was required to take. And before, I was still taking the fish water medication, the Prevacid, so they ended up converting that to an actual pill form. And then now I'm taking, at this time, my gallbladder medicine, which I was required to take for 6 months after surgery, just to keep my gallbladder healthy, so that I would not be able to, so that I wouldn't have to have it removed at a later date. Because with extreme weight loss, extreme weight gain, eating bad foods, things like that, it messes with your gallbladder. So week 7 is here, and I was starting to regret me ever saying that I could stay on that soft food stage forever. That was a lie. And let me tell you something. I got tired of everything that I ate. Now, remind you, I got tired of everything that I was able to eat, because I was still eating stuff from the liquid diet and incorporated with the soft foods. Jesus Christ. I got tired of eggs. I got tired of seafood, like, because it was like so much fish that I could eat. Now, I love seafood. Don't get me wrong. I was tired of eating crab meat. It was just so much that I wasn't able to do with this particular point, because there's so much that you can do with cheese, seafood, and like I would eat some tuna. Like I was just ready to just be over it. So this was my favorite stage, because at this particular stage, I was able to now eat poultry. So I was 7 weeks out, which is what, like a month and a half. And now I'm able to eat chicken and turkey, and I was able to eat non-starchy vegetables. So this means it's lit, okay? I can now make a salad, and I could not wait for this stage, because now this is the stage that I particularly decided, oh yeah, I can stay on this stage for the rest of my life and live with it, because I'm not a heavy red meat eater. So I don't eat a lot of steaks or, you know, hamburgers. And, you know, I was already sneaking and eating shrimp already anyway. You know, by the time that this stage came, I didn't care about not eating red meat. I was happy I was able to eat chicken. But of course, none of this can be fried. So everything was baked or boiled. Which is fine, because you already know I don't like the fried stuff, because I don't like the popping and the sizzling. So at my 7-week appointment, I was told that now, because my incisions have healed well, the tape has fallen off of my incisions, and everything was looking great, I can now go back to swimming. I love doing water aerobics and doing water Zumba. I'm able now to add weight training into my exercise regimen. And this is when I actually started doing Zumba regular on ground and began to love it. So finally, I was able to finish a whole hour of Zumba without stopping, besides just getting like a sip of water. But I didn't have to sit out any of the songs like I had to do previously when I was like at my highest weight. So this was pretty much a NSV for me. And an NSV, it means a non-scale victory, which pretty much just means that you haven't accomplished something with your weight loss, and it has nothing to do with you stepping on the scale and losing any of your weight. But in week 7, I had now weighed 285 pounds. Yay! Also, I was now able to eat poultry. I have never thought that I would love to see chicken and turkey as much as I wanted to. So at this particular point, I'm like, oh yeah, this might be my favorite stage now. So they also added, and I can have non-starchy vegetables. You don't know how long I've been waiting for this stage, because it's lit now. That means now I can cook vegetables with my fish and my seafood and my chicken and my turkey. And also, I could just make salads. I couldn't wait to get to the salad phase. I pretty much am still at this same phase now, because I'm not a heavy beef or red meat eater. So that really didn't, you know, matter to me. And I was already eating shrimp, so that didn't matter to me as well. So I was so excited to actually be able to stay on this stage. One last thing that was going on during this stage, because of the previous stage where all I was eating was a bunch of cheese, I am now blocked and bound up. Yeah. Again, we're family. So I'm going to share all this information with you, because you need to know about it anyway. So during this appointment, I explained this information to my the PA, the physician's assistant, and he pretty much explained to me, okay, so this is what you can do. You're going to have to increase your protein, you're going to have to drink more water, and add Miralax. You know, I don't care about names. I went to my favorite drugstore, CVS, and got me a big old bottle. Pretty much you just take a cap full of this, pour it in a liquid, shake it up. It's tasteless. It dissolves fast. You don't taste nothing. There's no clumps. You drink it, and probably within the next hour or two, you're going and doing a number 2. That's all that happened during my 1 to 3 months of post-op and during my recovery time. I just want to thank you all again for watching my video. Go back and watch my old videos, please. All of them will be down below in the description box. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on my social media. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.